Hello, namaste everyone. Hope you all are doing good. So, assuming that you have watched 75 day strategies video, then the next video that is book list for prelims, and then you're turning up here. Because in the 75 day strategy video, I had promised you कि जो each of the sub point जो मैंने आप पे वहाँ पर आपको बताया था उसके बारे में आपको डिटेल्ड वीडियो बनाऊंगा. सो उसके उस रिगार्ड में मैंने प्रीलिम्स का एक्सक्लूसिव बुक लिस्ट का एक वीडियो बनाया जो इसके पहले वाला वीडियो है. सो नाउ द सेकेंड पॉइंट विच आई हैड मेंशन्ड यू दैट हर एक सब्जेक्ट का इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर्स आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन डेप्थ. लाइक वाई दिस टॉप वीडियो इज इंपॉर्टेंट, लाइक लास्ट ईयर से थोड़ा पैटर्न चेंज हुआ है. And what the institutes and all are doing, like they are going back to 19 and 20 pattern. So considering the 2021-22 paper pattern, so I have derived few of the important topics which are very important. Considering this aspect has been divided by taking up the PYQs in mind. So in this video we'll be dealing with polity important chapters for prelims exclusively for 2023, and it can be used for 24 prelims as well. So if you have noticed, the first video on this channel, that is perspective into polity, I have dealt with each and every point of polity from prelims, mains, interview. I have discussed the PYQs there, the weightage there in prelims as well as mains. I have discussed the NCRTs which are important, book list, everything in detail. What are the PRS website, every Sunset TV, how to make use of it, everything has been detailed. But aspirants were asking for exclusive prelim video, so I'm coming up with this video. So let's start. So considering the prelims PYQ aspect, polity, in 2013 itself 19 questions were asked, and if you go by this aspect, in 2022 11 questions were asked. So what does it imply? That on an average 15 questions are there from polity, and which are very important, and this is a game changer part. Like each and every student will study this subject, and you cannot be wrong. Like out of this 15 and 16, you have to make sure that 14 questions are correct. Otherwise, you will be out of the race, because some other subject it is okay if you miss some of the question, but polity is the one which everyone will be studying, and the book list is simple for that. So your accuracy should be very great. For that accuracy, you should know from which area UPSC examiners are asking more questions, and you to channelize your preparation accordingly. So in this slide, I have written few of the important topics which are there. And this from this topic itself, 95% of the questions were based from 22 and 21 paper. So this is the importance which I have derived from the PYQ itself. So the first topic which an aspirant needs to consider is constitutional basics. आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के बेसिक बहुत ही क्लियर होना चाहिए. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के बेसिक इन द सेंस क्या है, व्हाट इज नेशन, व्हाट इज स्टेट, what is fundamental right, what is DPSP, what is constitution. लोगों को पता ही नहीं होता कि what is constitution, what is the role of it, what are the functions of it, what are the limitations to it. जो basic definition type होते हैं जो daily newspaper में पढ़ते हो, that concepts are equal not clear. Like what is nation state, एक question PYQ में आ चुका था, but students will not see that. Students will directly jump to fundamental rights and other important chapters. That is fine, but you have to make sure that constitution basics are very clear. Then preamble जो है, each and every point of the preamble should be by hearted first of all, like, and all the terms should be very clear, like what is sovereign, what is socialist, what is secular, what is democratic, what is republic, what is justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, what is the difference between adopt, what is the difference between enact, the words which are there in the preamble. तो ये terminology से उससे ही directly question आ रहा है. You will be like, okay, fraternity मतलब this, but अभी यूपीएससी क्या कर रहा है, इन डेप्थ दे आर गोइंग दैट. सो इन द बुक लिस्ट वीडियो आई टोल्ड यू विच एनसीईआरटी टू रीड फॉर दैट. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी क्लियर इन दैट. सो नेक्स्ट पॉइंट विच इज द फीचर्स क्या है, रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, व्हाट आर द थिंग्स देयर, सोर्सेज क्या है उसके, फंडामेंटल राइट, सेक्युलर स्टेट, यूनिवर्सल एंड फ्रेंचाइज, हाउ इंडिया अडॉप्टेड फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट डे इटसेल्फ, फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज, बेसिक फीचर्स जो है वो आपको you should be crystal clear in that. You should not just know this, but you should be crystal clear. Then the schedules. All the schedules, make sure it is on your fingertips, because questions now, the questions from fundamental rights, duties are exhausted. Like अभी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी PYQ में पूछ गए. सो व्हाट द एग्जामिनर्स आर डूइंग सिंस 21-22, दे लाइक गोइंग आउट ऑफ दैट फंडामेंटल राइट्स एंड ड्यूटीज. सो ये जो टॉपिक्स है इंपॉर्टेंट, अदर जो टॉपिक्स विच आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू, उसमें से ज्यादा क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं, एंड दैट टू आर लाइक वेरी इजी, बट इफ यू रीड इट वंस. So the backbone of the subject, that is fundamental right, duties, DPSP, this aspect is very, very important. You have to be crystal clear. Make sure you're watching the PYQs there. In-depth PYQs should be analyzed, and you should be clear in that. Like fundamental rights में all the fundamental rights. Even in my perspective series of polity, I told you all the fundamental rights from article 1 to 51 should be on your fingertips. They are very important, and UPSC can ask you like this article is related to what. Now UPSC is going back to the old pattern. Do not think that the fact based question won't be asked. So ये क्वेश्चन आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो. सो आर्टिकल इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल्स जो है रिपीटेडली क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं, बट स्टिल स्टूडेंट्स आर कमिटिंग मिस्टेक. लाइक आर्टिकल 21, आर्टिकल 14, DPSP जस्टिसेबल है क्या नॉन जस्टिसेबल है, अमेंडमेंट कौन से अमेंडमेंट हुए थे, व्हाट आर एडेड देयर, व्हाट आर डिलीटेड देयर, व्हाट इज लाइक कॉमन तीनों फंडामेंटल राइट्स ड्यूटीज TPS में जो कॉमन है, एवरीथिंग शुड बी क्रिस्टल क्लियर. यू take up Lakshmikanth and read this chapter multiple times instead of watching videos which are there on the YouTube. Emergency provisions which are there. Emergency provisions are very important. Not just emergency provision का static part नहीं, like पहले बार कब apply हुआ था, what are the types of emergency provision, financial emergency कब apply हुआ था क्या नहीं, उसके provisions क्या है, is there any scope of application, so what for the first time emergency was applied, everything should be clear there. Is legislation and executive, it should be dealt in state as well as center. उसमें आपको प्रेसिडेंट गवर्नर भी उसमें ही आ रहा है. आई हैव नॉट इनकॉर्पोरेटेड सेपरेटली, उसमें ही आ रहा है. लाइक अभी बहुत सारे गवर्नर के इश्यूज लाइक इन मेनी स्टेट्स ऑलवेज इन न्यूज, एवरी डे यू विल रीड एन आर्टिकल इन हिंदू देयर. सो लाइक उसमें गवर्नर के पावर्स क्या है, व्हाट आर द लिमिटेशन टू द गवर्नर पावर, डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर क्या है, प्रेसिडेंट का और गवर्नर की डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर में डिफरेंस क्या है, प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल क्या है, कब वो अप्लाई हो सकता है, उसका जुडिशियल इंटरप्रिटेशन क्या है, इलेक्शन टू द प्रेसिडेंट, इलेक्शन और गवर्नर का कौन अपॉइंट करता है, उसके टेन्योर क्या है. दिस बेसिक एस्पेक्ट which we will remember while reading it once, but we'll not revise it. But UPSC is now playing with the basic terms, because for the rural aspirants who are there, the big book list of institutes are not available. So जो basic जो books होते हैं NCERTs, they are deriving topics from that. So you should be very clear in that. Then the bodies, like what are the constitution bodies, what are the statutory bodies. Abhi recently National Commission of Backward Classes 2 years, 1 year back, it was considered to be a constitutional body. So उसमें directly दे रहा है, but students are committing mistake. What are the constitutional provisions with respect to that? What is local government? What is 73rd Constitution Amendment? What is 74th Constitution Amendment? उसके अभी students like examiner is not only asking you the provision, but he is also asking you the application part of it, like how is it successful, नहीं successful हुआ है, basic fact देगा, which is like from mains aspect, but they are now asking question in prelims also. So judiciary, the most important aspect, like recently the NJSU issue was there, always in news, like as that of governor. So judges inquiry act क्या है, appointment procedure at present क्या है, and what are the prescribed measures for it, how it is working, it is going into legislative domain or what, it is going into executive domains or what. So these are some of the important themes which are there in polity where an aspirant needs to cover. What you can do is like you can take up this topic, stick it somewhere and make sure you're dealing with each of the subpoints. और अगर आपको वेरीफाई करना है कि ओके एज आई टोल्ड यू 95% of the question asked from this topic itself. So what you can do, you take a PYQs of 21, 22, you can go backward also. See how questions have been asked directly from this part which I have told you in the 10 minutes video. Like कैसे अभी डिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है UPSC. Earlier the question were bombarded from this section in 18, 19, 20, but 21, 22 they are going to other parts also. So how they are going to other parts? What are the nature of questions? आपको PYQ analyze करने के बाद आराम से पता चल जाएगा. So make sure you're concentrating on these important topics, and I promise you, questions will be not out of the context. 95% of the question will be from this part. I repeat again, 95% of the question will be from this part. Be very sure with this. Thank you for watching this video.